Do you believe all of them will evacuate, or just a percentage?
A percentage? I would say maybe 5% of the entire Gulf will maybe less take their goods and get out of there for the time being. But the rest, I think they will wait to the 11th hour, and then it will just be too late. Then the roads are blocked, and people are already caught in it. That's what I unfortunately think, because people, they don't want to lose their homes, they don't want to lose their cars and all their possessions, their earthly goods, and pick it all up and get out of harm's way. They want to stay there and say to themselves, well, it's probably not that bad. It will go away. Nature will restore itself. And in this case, it won't. This is much, much deeper than just a so-called oil spill. This is a chemical warfare against the population itself, as being so much corrosive into a volcano and not into an actual oil spill.
Yes.
Already there, disconnect is between what BP are doing and what is actually taking place. So my advice is that people, they should, at least temporarily, pack what the necessities they have into their car and then get out of there for the time being, stay with family which is out of state or something like that. At least just get out of there for a while and see how things develop. Then they can be glad when things develop, because it will. Sooner or later, this will have repercussions on the entire ecosystem in the Gulf region.
Do you believe that government will order the people to evacuate at some time in the future?
Yeah.
At the last moment?
I think they will do so. And FEMA is already buzzing with red lights and green lights and yellow lights. They already know what to do about this situation. 10 cities have already been moved down there.
You know, when the government orders them out of their homes, the whole economy of the South will collapse, and the United States economy will collapse.
Can I interject something for a second? Because this is eerily similar to when the Twin Towers were hit. And if you remember, after the Twin Towers came down, the EPA head at the time was Christy Whitman. And Christy Whitman said, don't worry, no problem. We got air monitors up all over the place. The air is clean to breathe. Everything is okay. Go back to work. Do what you got to do. Everything's fine. Because they knew that if New York was down for any extended period of time, the economy would travel south very quickly. And as a result of that, the amount of people with respiratory illnesses or have died from mesothelioma and everything else because of the amount of asbestos that was in those towers that would become airborne when the towers came down is staggering. And the fact that nobody has held anybody accountable for that is unbelievable. But the precedent is there. And there were a lot of witnesses to it. You know, the EPA says the air is safe all the time down there. Everything's fine, no problem. You know, Corexit is not harmful. Once you hear somebody say that on the mainstream media or news, that should raise red flags in your head. I'm sorry, nothing is harmful that disperses oil in the fashion that it does. And I've tried it with my Dawn dish detergent, folks. It doesn't do it like that. You know, and they say, oh, no, it's just like Dawn dish detergent. Yeah. So anybody that has any feelings like, no, this isn't really as big as what we're trying to say, I'm telling you, folks, it is. It most certainly is. And can you guys speak to that? Go ahead, Henning.
Yeah, I did actually with PDF of the ingredients and the hazard instructions of the Corexit, and it clearly states that it's irritant and you should minimize any contact with the product at all, and best would be that you actually are in a bodysuit and with the oxygen flow when you work with this stuff. So it is very, very dangerous, and EPA says everything is okay. And it is like
right.
9/11. Yeah, they went out and said everything is okay, but it is not okay.
No, it's
I'm
not.
afraid.
And one of the not to interrupt you, but I got to get this thought out before it evades me. One of the convenient consequences to something like this is a lot of the witnesses to the crime actually end up dying from the same thing that they say is so safe. And they know that people can sue, and it will take years and years and years to get through the court system, and it will never go anyway, and by that time they'll be dead. So it's and honestly, folks, in this case, I don't think we have that much time. But, there has been a precedent. Griff, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, I would just like to remind everybody we have an upcoming war. It's pretty sure it's going to happen between Israel and Iran with the United States military involved. Now, if the Gulf situation and millions of people evacuating is not enough to worry about, how those people are going to be fed and sheltered and taken care of, how do you supply toilets to 30 million people on the road? How do you do that? You can't. The answer is you can't. You can't take care of those people. No government in the world could manage that many people. So you have a situation that will be totally out of control. And then you put a probable war coming up any time now. That event could occur any time, and then retaliation at the United States. At the same time, you have the collapse of the dollar. It is as certain as the sun's coming up in the morning that the dollar will collapse, and that means that goods will stop coming into the United States. So you have all of that together in your services, your electrical services, your water, your clothing, your shoes, everything stops. Now, that is more than anybody can really comprehend and wrap their mind around. It's time to look after self and family. You should know about these things, but don't lose sleep over it. Just concentrate and focus on self and family.
And I think it should be mentioned, Griff. That the House just passed a resolution on Friday, pretty much giving the go-ahead for the Iran-Israel conflict to go. And I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but I do know that it was an article on Drudge. So I
saw that.
Yeah, the House did pass a resolution. So that's just one more step forward into the abyss.
We're looking at the retaliation in November back at the United States and Israel.
And who do you think that's going to come from, just out of curiosity?
It'll come from the Arab states.
Do you foresee Russia or China getting involved in this in any way?
Maybe in a management capacity. I think it would be to their advantage not to take active role in the weapons, or at least not make it public.
I'll tell you, these are really dire times that we live in now. Henning, from a Bible standpoint, do you see this year as being the start of the tribulation?
Yeah, I do.
I kind of think the same thing myself, my friend. And that's why, folks, it's so important that you not only prepare yourself physically and mentally, but also spiritually, because these days that come ahead are going to really test you. And if they haven't already started to test you, with unemployment being so high, I'm sure a lot of people that are going to be listening to this show have felt it, that understand just how dire the economy, the economic situation is in this country, and that they can't keep this screen up for much longer. As a matter of fact, it's really coming down at a rapid pace, and they're losing control of this. The Pandora's box was opened, and now they cannot stop it. They can't hold it back, and unfortunately, folks, we are in the crosshairs, or the flow of as the dam falls, if you will. So that's why it's so important, like Griff says, is take care of yourself, take care of your family, and get everybody ready. Make contacts, network, find out who it is you can trust. Trust is going to be of paramount importance in these type of times, and what you'll come to find out is there are very few people out there that you can actually trust. So finding somebody that you can trust